Hi, welcome to our second tutorial for creating assets with a Blender for TheBlu. This is on Blender's interface. Okay, now one of the first things that I'd like to show to you, if you're coming from Maya or Max, you might miss your quad view. Well, to get to the quad view, you just click on this little tab, the plus icon. That'll open up this set of buttons. And under display, you can toggle the quad view on or off. Now, if you close this all the way, if you slide that closed, you might see the plus icon comes back. Well, this leads in quite nicely to the next feature I'd like to show you, which is the search tool. What you do is hit the space key, and that'll bring up the search tool. This is a great tool for finding just about anything you need in Blender. What you can do is just type toggle or quad, and it'll bring up the function to toggle the quad view, as you can see there. I can also type quad, and it brings it right up there, and I can toggle the quad view on or off. Okay, the next thing I'd like to talk about is splitting and joining windows. You can see these little triangles in the corner of all the windows. Those are your splitting widgets. Now what you can do is click that and drag the window horizontally, and you will split the windows into two separate windows. If you click the little triangle and drag vertically, it'll split the window horizontally. It'll just drag out. It actually works really quickly. It's pretty nice. As you can see, you can create different layouts quite easily. Now if you want to join them back together, you just click and drag towards an adjacent window that you want to join it with. There is one catch. The two windows on either side that you're joining do have to be of the same length. So you can see here, I would have to join these vertically before I could join them horizontally. And now we're back to our default interface. Well, there's one other thing I'd like to touch on, and that is that the default Blender selection is on right-click. Well, that's pretty funny for me, being a tablet user, and a lot of people like left-click. So, to change that, we just go into the user preferences here, jump over to the input, and then look under select with and change that selection to left. Now there's some other options here, one being turntable versus trackball. Trackball allows you to move around the scene maybe a little bit easier, but it's easier to get disoriented. So if you're coming from Max or Maya and you find yourself getting disoriented all the time in Blender, best change that to turntable. Now I'll look through these other settings. Over here is your key bindings. There's a whole lot of those. Too many for this tutorial. I could do a whole nother tutorial on that in another day, but all key bindings are changeable. There is a Maya preset if you're a Maya user. This isn't all key bindings, but it's the basic navigation for Maya. So I'm going to stick with Blender keys, but you should know that this is here if you are coming from the Maya environment. One other thing that I'd like to point out is you should make sure you have, if you have a decent video card, make sure VBOs is checked. This will allow Blender to use your graphics card instead of just software rendering. And if you're seeing any visual corruption at all, you might want to play with the triple buffer or the window draw method here. That's yeah, any visual corruption if you see certain screens turning black or anything. I personally have to have my machine triple buffered, but for most people the default should work just fine. Now you can if you close this window with the X button on top, it will just save the settings for this current session. If you use save as default, then the it'll save for every session. So that's about all I want to touch on in this interface tutorial. There's plenty more to learn, but this should get you started. See you next time.